A comprehensive approach to teaching listening comprehension. Listening comprehension is when a person understands, remembers, discusses, and retells what is being communicated. However, it cannot be denied that most students are having a hard time understanding what their teachers discuss. Thus, this program is structured to create games and ICT-based activities that engross students and address their listening comprehension problems. The problems in listening comprehension that we identified are listeners' lack of vocabulary, lack of prior knowledge, difficulty in understanding a text because of speaker's accent and speech rate, retention problem, lack of motivation to listen. The objective of this program is to address the listening comprehension issues observed among students employing differentiated ICT-based approaches, games, and activities. The activities we have to address the first problem are SWOT award for pre-listening activity, vocabulary journals for while listening activity, and spelling bee for post-listening activity. SWOT award. Divide the students into two teams and have them lined up. Paste a misspelled word in the board. Say the word clearly. The first student in each team runs the board to write its correct spelling. After, let them define the word. Vocabulary journals. The teacher makes the student listen to a story. He instructs the students to jot down the unfamiliar words they encounter. After, the students give the meaning of the words based on its context. The whole class must agree on the meaning given. Lastly, the teacher gives the exact meaning of the word. Spelling bee. The teacher groups the students into four. Each group is given a tag board. The teacher gives a sentence with one word for the students to spell. He instructs them to give its meaning based on its usage in the sentence. He gives them a time limit to give their answer. These activities are believed to cater vocabulary problems of the students because it immerses them to different words and their meanings which might be new for them. It follows the discovery approach and incorporates fun while socializing with other students. For the second problem, we have thumbs up, thumbs down, think, pair, share, and retelling a story. Thumbs up, thumbs down. The teacher utters a statement. If the statement is true, the student raises their thumbs up. If it is false, they give thumbs down. Think, pair, share. Ask the students to find a pair. Give them questions to discuss. Let them share their ideas afterwards. Retelling a story. The students listen to a story. After, the teacher asks the students to retell the story through picture cues. These activities stimulate the students' minds because they are to recount their past experiences or knowledge about the topic that is to be discussed. For the third problem, which is speaker's accent, we have pass a message, listen and draw. Listen for information. Pass a message. Divide the class into two. Give a phrase or sentence to the first student of each team. The message is then relayed and the last student writes the message on the board. Listen and draw. The teacher allows the students to listen to a story. The students draw what they have understood. Listen to information. The teacher projects several questions through a PowerPoint presentation. He instructs the students to answer the questions while they listen to a text. Still in problem number 3, which is speech rate. We have copy me, watching film clips, plays, movies, videos, digital stories, podcasts, etc. Close type test using tongue twisters. Copy me. Give a command, action, or noise and ask one student to imitate it. The student adds an action, noise, or command of his or her own which is to be copied by the next student. Each student copies the actions and adds another one. See if you can get around the class before someone forgets. watching film clips, plays, movies, videos, digital stories, podcasts, etc. Let the students watch a video. Give a follow-up exercise. Close type test using tongue twister. Let the students apply the missing words in the tongue twister while the teacher recites or reads it. Afterwards, the teacher allows them to give the meaning of the words by giving clues. These activities allow students to scrutinize the way different speakers pronounce and enunciate words and also the pace of their speech. For the fourth problem, we have Copy Me, Story Starter or Story Chain, and Who Am I? Copy Me. Give a command, action, or noise and ask one student to imitate it. The student adds an action, noise, or command of his or her own which is to be copied by the next student. Each student copies the actions and adds another one. See if you can get around the class before someone forgets. Who am I? Gather the students in a form of circle. Tell them that they are going to listen to a story. Show a picture of a character, scene, or setting reflected in the story. Let the students tell what the picture shows based on the story. Story starter or story chain. Start a story with something like once upon a time. A student repeats the sentence and completes it. He then passes the story in the next student. The next student repeats everything said so far and adds to the story. The challenge is to listen carefully and be able to repeat the story up to the point where it was left off. As the story winds around and gets outrageous, it becomes more challenging and fun. These activities challenge the students to remember the story delivered and at the same time allow the teacher to assess students' comprehension. The last problem is deemed to be addressed through the use of any of the foregoing games and activities since it deals with the students' motivation to listen.